You're listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast.
There's certainly lots of lessons to be learned, I think, in leadership everywhere. If I think of some of mine, one of the things I learned quite early, especially dealing with a diverse team, is the need to listen to people, really, really listen. What are they saying, but what are they not saying? And do we actually understand the same thing? Because if you don't, you can go a long way down a road to a decision only to discover that you were both walking on different paths and you don't have the agreement you thought you had or the understanding, and then something fails at the last minute because you haven't had that right understanding from the beginning. And that was a lesson I had to learn more than once, I would say. And now it's really in my DNA, this, what do we all understand about this? Because as individuals, we of course bring our cultural background, we bring our values filters to any decision, and also to our understanding, what does it mean when we say this? And I can think of two groups of leaders that I was working with at one point who got into tremendous conflict because on one side, they said, in Toastmasters, our primary core value is integrity. And this other group were saying, from our cultural background, yeah, integrity is okay, but honour is much more important. And we want to work towards a culture of honour, not integrity. And of course, that makes you choose different things. And gathering people then around that common purpose, that common understanding that in your culture, honour may be more important, but in our organisation, integrity is something we would define as more important. So therefore, we have to pass our decisions through that filter of integrity. And helping people to come around that was a big learning point for me. So I think that really investing time in understanding others so that you have good agreement. And then when you walk out of the room, nobody's dashing off to say to somebody else, I can't believe what they just decided, but rather they understand. We may not always like the decision, but we understand it and we're willing to agree and to stand with it. I think that's also another point of learning, that what happens when you've made a decision. You know, it's very easy to walk away and be tempted to go and say to your friends or whoever, oh, they're crazy, I can't believe what they think or how they see this. But actually standing together in unity with the decision makes it stronger, whether you like it or don't like it. But if you agree that when we work together, we will actually reach a decision and we will stand by our decision. And if as that decision works out, we discover it was wrong, that we'll also say it was wrong. That's definitely been learning for me. And I think one other thing I would share about the learning experiences in leadership is about accountability. Sometimes we think that because we're in the non-profit world or we're volunteering for something, that we don't have to be accountable because we're not taking a salary home. But actually, accountability in that environment is just as important. We are accountable when we do what we say we will do, when we take responsibility for our actions. And for me, that very much sits within having integrity as a person. For me, accountability is very closely linked to that I will take responsibility for my actions. And I think that strengthens us in leadership wherever we are, if we are willing to stand up and say, yep, that's what I did, that's what I said, I stand by this, whether it's working out well or whether it's not working out well. Definitely an important lesson, I think, in leadership.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast.